Brad Williams, Excel primed. What's the project completion date with weekends and holidays excluded? I'm going to try to streamline this. In other words, Excel, in its infinite wisdom, working with this workday function, seems to overlook the definition of a start date. Over here in the yellow, if you include the project start day as a working date, Excel does not, even if it's Monday through Friday. So 10 working days is actually 11. Therefore, subtract 1 from the project start date to equal 10 working days from the start date, or enter 9. What am I talking about here? We have a project start date. This, if you add 10 days, excluding weekends and possible holidays, would effectively end on Friday, January 28th. But I inserted this 1 here only to satisfy what I think is correct. Their project start date would actually be Tuesday, and this project would end on Monday. Get rid of the 1, and notice this thing's extended over the weekend. We have our project start date. All we're doing is the duration. Give me the end date. If there's a holiday, take that into account. If there's a weekend, take that into account. I've already pointed out the obvious. I don't think I need to go over this again. I included this -1 in order to simulate a start date is actually the day you start working. That's going to account for the actual start date. Over here, our anatomy, it's real straightforward. Workday, what does it do? The day in working days from a date. In other words, how many days forward until this project's completed? We have the following arguments. We have a start date, we have days, and we have holidays. Over here, our anatomy, our map. And here is the write-up. I'll just go through this quickly. What's the project completion date with weekends and holidays excluded? You can use the workday function to determine the completion date of a project based on the start date and time. Here's the formula, workday. This is Excel's formula. Here is mine, whatever works for you. If your project starts on Tuesday, then use this formula. If it starts on Monday, either subtract 1 or put 9. This formula calculates the end date using the workday function. Workday can calculate future or past dates and excludes automatically weekends and holidays if provided. In this example, the start date of the project is listed in column C, and the number of days is listed in column D. Days represent the time of the project in workdays. I think I used duration, project duration. The workday function is used to determine the end date in column E. The list G5, G16 that is labeled holidays represents holidays. The function workday does not count the start date as a workday. Here, right here, see this? Let's put that in bold. Let's underline that and just make sure you understand that. Different. Saturdays and Sundays are considered weekend days by the workday function. If your schedule has unique requirements, use the WORKDAY.INTL, Workday International function instead. If workdays are Monday through Saturday, for instance, you can change this providing 11 as a third argument in Workday.INTL. This does not work in older versions of Excel. Excel Workday function. The Excel Workday function is a date time function that calculates the date that has a specified number of working days, business days, before or after a given start date. Again, let me emphasize that. Before or after a given start date. The function takes 3 arguments, as I mentioned. We have a start date, days, and holidays. Holidays is optional. Here's a breakdown. We have a start date, the days, so on and so forth. You can read up on this. And you can look at these examples, but that's it. All we're doing is taking into account days forward or days back. You could go -10, you can do whatever you want. And these holidays, notice this is 2029. In other words, Monday 2029, if there's any holidays, we're not going to be able to address that. If we put this into 2029, we're going to look at the different holidays here. Notice we have a Monday start date and a Friday end date. If we just change this to 2029, what are we going to see? Well, we have a Wednesday start date, 10 days project duration, we're taking into account weekends, and what do we have to deal with here? Are there any holidays? Look. No. But if we go back a couple of days, when we go here, what happens here? January 15th, 2029. What happens? Even though Monday is the start date, there should be, we're working this holiday here. If we get rid of this -1, this 1, and we have Monday, January 29th. Why? Because we have this holiday here. We go back. You got it? I hope so. Play around with these dates. I'm going to emphasize this again and again. It's your model. You can do what you want. I believe in this format here, this -1, if your project date is actually the start date. Brad Williams, Excel Prime.